Hi friends, this is Gautam. In this video tutorial, I'm going to discuss about how to configure EBGP multi-hop. So in previous session, we discussed about how to configure EBGP. So in this video session, we are going to discuss about EBGP multi-hop. So this is my example scenario. So here I am using three routers R1, R2, R3. So in R1 I am using BGP protocol and R3 also I am using BGP protocol, but in middle R2 router I won't use any BGP protocol. So how the EBGP multi-op will be working in this scenario? So R1 router I am using AS number 1 and R2 router I am using AS number 2. So R1 to R2 direct connected network is 192.168.100.0/24 and R2 to R3 I am using 192.168.200.0/24 network. Okay, so normally EBGP protocol will run direct connected interface, and also by default they are using TTL value as 1 only for EBGP. This is not applicable for IBGP. So EBGP means external border gateway protocol. So between two autonomous system we can use EBGP protocol. Within an autonomous system we can use IBGP protocol. So here R1 trying to connect R3 router. So by default EBGP using TTL value 1. So once the packet comes to the R1, so it will minus 1. So now the TTL value will be 0. So it will send ICMP unreachable message. So that's why EBGP not formed. So here we have to configure EBGP multi-op. So EBGP multi-op means whatever the value you are giving, it will be increase the TTL value. For an example, I will configure EBGP multi-op 2. So that means we set the TTL value as a 2. So now the R1 router will send the packet to R2. So TTL 2. So each and every packet it will crossing the router. The TTL value will be minus 1. So minus 1 and it will send to the R3 router. So R3 router will reply back to the R1. Then it will form the neighbor relationship. Okay. So I will show it to you in real time so you can able to understand what I am saying. So in R1 router, as per the diagram, I will configure the IP address. Just I'll show it to you. Show IP interface brief. So as per the diagram, I will assign the IP address R1 router, R2 router and R3 router. Show IP route. Okay. So R3 router. Show IP interface brief. Okay. So IP addresses are assigned. So now in R1 router, I'm going to configure EBGP protocol. So before configuring, I already configured static route between R1 and R3 because R1 this network is indirect connected network. So before configuring EBGP or IBGP, that remote IP should be unreachable. So R1 router should reachable 192.168.200.2. This network should be reachable. So for that reason, in R1 router I configure static route, as well as in R3 router wants to reach this 192.168.100.0/24. So I configure static route in R3 router. So just verify that one also. Show run pipe section IP route. Okay, so here we can see R3 indirect network is configured. Same here we have to check show run pipe section IP route. So here also the static route is configured. Okay, so first I'm going to R1 router. I will configure router BGP-1. So next one we have to configure the remote IP. So neighbor, the remote IP is R3 router interface IP. So R3 router interface IP is 192.168.200.2. So 192.168. 192.168.200.2. So here we have to give 2 and remote AS number is 2. Enter. So same thing I have to configure in R3 router also. Go to the global mode. So router BGP 2. So neighbor 192.168.100.1 and remote AS number is remote AS number is 1. Enter. Next one we have to check it. Do show IP BGP summary to check the neighbor table. Here we can see still it's in ideal. So we can check do show run pipe include external. So the direct connector, this is R1 and R3 is not direct connector. So I have to configure 192.168. So I have to give pairing IP 200.2 and I will just disable the direct connector routers. Direct connected check. I have to remove that one. So in R3 router also I configure the same thing. So just go to the router BGP 2. So neighbor 192.168.100.1 disable connected check. Okay, so now I'm capturing the traffic and I'll show it to you. So just I right click, start capturing. Okay, so here we can see I'll just one packet, I'm clicking here. So in ICMP by default the TTL value it will take it as a 1. Here we can see 1. This is from R1 to R2. So after R2 it's receiving minus the TTL value will be reduced to 1. Now the TTL value should be 0. So once the TTL value is 0 means it will be on time to exit. So it will send the ICMP not reachable. So here we can see time to exit. I'll just double click. So just go to ICMP. So you can see type 11 and code is a 0. So time to leave exit, that means the TTL value will be 0 means it will be sending this time to leave exit message to the R1 router. So that's why R1 and R3 is not formed in BGP neighbor relationship. So for that reason only we have to configure EBGP multi-op. So EBGP multi-op means we have to change the TTL value. So normally in EBGP the default TTL value should be on 1. So whenever we are configuring indirected means more than one TTL means we have to configure EBGP multi-op and whatever the hope, how many hopes, after how many hopes it will be reaching the peering router. So based upon that we have to configure that value. But by default if you are configuring BGP multi-hop 255 means it will be forming the loop. So based upon how many hop we have to connecting our pair IP. So based upon that we have to configure that one. So just I close this one. So I have to configure. So the syntax for configuring EBGP multi-op is, so first we have to remove this command, no. So disable connected check. So disable connected check means it will be if it's not directly connected. So that's why we have to check disable that connected check. Then only it will try to form the EBGP. So that's why I have to give this command. So neighbor 192.168.100.1. So EBGP hyphen multi-hop. So here we can see the multi-hop is maximum hop count. So the TTL value should be 1 to 255. So here we have to give 2 because R1 to R2 1 and after R2 it will reaching R3. So 2 hop. So we have to give 2. So if you are not giving EBGP multi-hop, you have to press enter also. It will take by default 255. So it will form the loop. So maximum you have to give how many hop. After how many hop away we are, that pairing device is there. So based upon that we have to configure here. So here the pairing is after 2 hop, so we have to give